The truth about Easter Island has finally been found by scientists. Many people have been interested in the riddle of Easter Island for many decades. A rocky island in the Pacific Ocean, far away from everything else. There are, however, thousands of these lonely places in the world. What is so unique about this one? The secret isn't on the island itself, but on the huge stone statues that cover it. These belong to the people who made the famous huge stone heads. Did they do something specific? Where did the people who made them come from, and where did they go? It looks like the answer is almost here. Watch this video to find out everything you want to know about Easter Island. Please give us a thumbs up. What do we know about the island? The first people who lived on Easter Island called it Rapa Nui. It is now part of Chile and is in the southern Pacific Ocean. It is so far away that it could be considered one of the farthest places on the globe. It is 1,200 miles away from Pitcairn, which is its nearest friend. To the west, 2,300 miles away, is Chile itself. For getting there, the only way is by plane. To get to this place, you will have to fly from Santiago, Chile, to Easter Island for 5 hours. The island is only about 63 square miles in size. Let's accept that 887 huge stone statues live in a very small area. You may not know these interesting things about them. The figures are called moai. It was sometime between the 13th and 15th centuries that they were first made. The strange faces on Rapa Nui statues make them easy to spot. They have heavy brows, flat ears, long noses, and eyes that look very sad. The noses curling in the same way that fishhooks do is very strange. People at first thought that the statues were only their heads, but to their surprise, they found that the heads were connected to full bodies. In May 2012, it was found during digging. They were just buried under the ground. The figures really are very tall. The largest one is 33 feet tall and 90 tons heavy. That's not the best, though. One figure that was found on the island was not finished, but scientists say it had to be 70 feet tall and weigh around 297 US tons. Still, from the first sight, you can only see the heads of the statues, which are only 3/8 of the size of each figure. The arms were cut against bodies that were lying in different positions. 84 of the 87 figures were made from a material called tuff, which is actually compressed volcanic ash. It's interesting that all but one group of the figures face inland. It means they are facing away from the ocean. The people may have done that because they thought the statues would protect them. They neglected the arrangement because of this. The only figures that don't follow this pattern can be found at Ahu Akivi, which is a holy site for the Rapa Nui people. The island has a one-of-a-kind figure. It is the only figure that was discovered on its knees. The name of it is Tukutori. Scientists think the statue shows an old singer. His position is like the one people sat in at the Rapa Nui. The statue's head is raised pretty high, and you can even make out a beard. The unusual red punapua stone used to make Tukutori makes it look a lot more like a person than the other statues. Its small size and unique shape also make it stand out. These facts are all very interesting, right? Watch out for now. There are a lot of questions to solve. People are still confused about how the very heavy figures got to be spread out all over the island. Also, when Europeans came to the island for the first time in 1722, they found only about 1,500 to 3,000 people living there. What does it have to do with the many figures on the island? While there were probably a lot of different ideas about how the statues got moved, one of the most popular among mystery followers was the idea that aliens built and moved the statues. But we're sorry to say that this idea is wrong, even if you like it. The stone that was used to make the figures comes from the island. The main source of the material was not another planet, but an inactive volcano in the northeast of Easter Island. Researchers were stuck because they couldn't figure out how the Rapa Nui people were able to move the statues. In the 1980s, Some of them chose to make a new statue and see if they could move it. They were told to only use tools that the Aborigines might have had. It didn't look possible. A few years later, though, an American archaeologist was able to move a copy that weighed 10 US tons. After a few decades, another group of American experts showed that the islanders knew how to tie ropes around the huge statues and move them like they were walking. They used this method to move a full-sized copy 330 feet, which proved their theory. They may have found a reason for the Rapa Nui belief that the statues could walk with the help of magic. It talks about how the statues got to where they were supposed to go. What about the last question, though? How could such a small group of people build so many beautiful monuments? An updated study was just completed to find out how many people lived on the island during the height of its society. The results came in, and they were a big surprise. There was enough room for up to 17,000 people to live happily on the island. Fields of sweet potatoes, which used to be the main source of food for the people, could cover at least 19% of the land. Additionally, the islanders ate a lot of fish and seafood, so these numbers show that there were enough people to make the stone works of art. What did they do, though? How did they get away? At first, people thought that ecocide was the cause of such a big drop in population. People from the area cut down big woods and palm trees to make room for farming and moving the statues around. They believed the trees would grow back quickly enough. It was an incorrect idea. As the environment got worse, people went hungry, which in turn caused fights and cannibalism. But this idea has been shown to be wrong now. To begin, the people who live in Rapa Nui seem to be very skilled at designing and building farms. It was on purpose that they used the volcanic rock to feed the fields. In fact, another study found that people had lived on the island for hundreds of years, and the population started going down when people from Europe started coming to visit. This means that a much more reasonable answer is also very sad. During the 1800s, the island was often the target of raids from South America looking for slaves. They took away half of the Aboriginal people. Traders from Europe also brought new diseases to the island that the native people weren't immune to. This made people move away. That was the start of the end for the nation that gave the world a miracle like the secret of Easter Island. Have you heard of these before? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. To join us, click the subscribe button below the video and like it.